Have you ever wondered what it takes to fight a war in places where the temperature drops below -40? The air feels like knives against your skin, and snow buries everything in sight? Sounds like science fiction, right? But it was real. And to survive in these frozen battlefields, Russia created machines so tough, so intimidating, they looked like they had rolled straight out of a post-apocalyptic movie. How do you even design a vehicle that can keep moving, fighting, and surviving when nature itself seems determined to stop you? What kind of engineering makes it possible to crush snow, break through icy forests, and keep going when every other machine freezes solid? Today, you're about to discover the wildest snow vehicles ever designed for combat. Stick with me because the number one machine on this list will change the way you think about warfare in the cold. Number 10, Burkat 2. TT TSM 1901-240. In the early 2000s, Russian manufacturer TTM built the Burkat 2 specifically for Arctic patrols and military rescue operations. Temperatures in these regions can be instantly deadly, but this tracked beast was ready for it. Powered by a four-cylinder engine of nearly 2 liters, it delivered about 120 horsepower, enough to move a dozen soldiers across deep snow inside its heated, fully sealed cabin. From the outside, it looked like an armored snow bus with tank tracks, and once those tracks bit into the snow, the deep grinding sound was unforgettable. Even today, versions of the Burkat 2 are used in Arctic operations, a true survival machine. Would you ride inside this during a blizzard? Number 9, Shabers. M3. Arctic combat buggy light, fast and aggressive, the Shabers M3 was designed with special operations in mind. Imagine a combat buggy re-engineered for frozen mountains. With a 1.5-liter engine producing about 120 horsepower, it could carry 3 soldiers and their weapons across snow at high speed. Its profile was sleek, covered in winter camouflage with tires reinforced for ice. On the battlefield, it looked like a white blur tearing across frozen trails. Special forces used it for reconnaissance and quick strikes where speed mattered more than armor. Looks like something from a video game, right? Number 8, Gia MV2, 1985. Back in the Cold War, the Soviets built the GMV-2, a military snow tractor designed to drag supplies and troops through landscapes where regular trucks instantly failed. A 6-cylinder diesel with about 250 horsepower gave it enough muscle to haul up to 6 tons of gear. On its massive tracks, the GMV-2 looked like a mechanical beast crawling across endless tundra. Its roar echoed for miles, even in snowstorms. Deployed across Siberia and Arctic outposts, it kept the supply lines alive when nothing else could move. Think about it. Could modern trucks even survive that long in those conditions? Number 7, a 1-double snowmobile. This one is a forgotten gem. During the Cold War, engineers experimented with lightweight twin-sled snowmobiles for scouting. Each sled had a 2-cylinder, 600 cubic centimeter engine, and together they produced about 40 horsepower. It wasn't much, but the machine was fast, agile, and loud, like 2 motorcycles flying across a frozen lake. The design looked like twin jet skis on snow, linked together for speed. Scouts and messengers used it to dart across frozen front lines. Not the strongest, but one of the coolest concepts of its time. Number 6, T-20 Komsomolets. Here's a legend from the 1930s. The T-20 was one of the first Soviet snow artillery tractors, entering service just before World War II. With a 3.5-liter 4-cylinder engine producing around 50 horsepower, it could tow artillery guns while carrying a few troops in its armored, boxy body. It looked like a mini-tank with steel tracks grinding through snow and mud. On the Eastern Front, it became essential in brutal winters, proving that even early snow machines could make the difference between survival and disaster. Can you imagine fighting in one of these 80 years ago? Number 5, DE-2-26, based on Ural 4320. Now we step into heavy snow monsters. The DE-226 was a transformation of the legendary Ural 4320 truck into a tracked Arctic war machine. With a V8 engine producing about 350 horsepower, this beast looked like a fortress on tracks. It had reinforced armor, narrow bulletproof windows, and camo designed for whiteout conditions. The sound of its engine mixed with the grinding tracks was like an avalanche moving across the tundra. Built for logistics and transport, it carried troops and supplies into zones no normal truck could reach. Would you dare to drive this through a frozen battlefield? Number 4. TM-140. Still respected today, the TM-140 is one of the most reliable Soviet snowcrawlers. With a V8 engine delivering around 300 horsepower, this two-tracked vehicle looked futuristic, almost like a lunar rover. Its massive tracks left behind a perfectly flat trail, while its cabin kept crews warm at minus 40 degrees Celsius. Used for both military and scientific missions, it carried tools, communications gear, and soldiers over hundreds of kilometers. Modern versions still operate in Siberia today, proof of timeless engineering. Number 3. Screw-drive Soviet vehicle. Here's something truly bizarre. In the Cold War, engineers tested a vehicle that didn't use wheels or tracks, only giant rotating screws. The screws dug into snow, mud, or ice, pulling the machine forward. With a small 4-cylinder engine, it wasn't fast, but the sight of it crawling through snow like a giant metal worm was unforgettable. It sounded like grinding steel twisting against the earth. Never mass-produced, but still one of the strangest snow machines ever made. Would you ride this experimental beast? Number 2. Kharkovchanka. Known as the Lady of Kharkov, this 1959 giant was built for Antarctica, but later adapted for Arctic military use. Weighing over 20 tons, it had a V12 engine producing around 400 horsepower. What set it apart was its interior. Heated cabins with beds, a kitchen, and even space for weeks of survival. It was more like a moving Arctic base than a truck. For decades, it carried soldiers and scientists across frozen oceans and glaciers. A few are still in operation today. Imagine living inside a vehicle in the middle of Antarctica. Could you handle it? Number 1. Vityaz DT-30. Finally, the king of snow machines. The Vityaz DT-30 is the ultimate cold weather vehicle. Built with 2 massive tracked units connected by a central hinge, it looks like 2 tanks fused together. Powered by a 15-liter V12 producing over 500 horsepower, it can haul missile systems, heavy cargo, or even small buildings across snow, rivers, and ice. Nearly 20 meters long, with ultra-wide tracks and a cabin that blends into the snow, it dominates any frozen battlefield. This isn't just a machine, it's an Arctic legend. From experimental sleds to 30-ton Titans, we've seen how Soviet and Russian engineers built vehicles that could not only move but thrive in the world's harshest environments. These aren't just trucks or tanks, they're survival legends. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these snow monsters would you dare to drive? And which one gave you chills just imagining it? Drop your answers in the comments. Check out the long version of this video for even more insane machines. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our weekly deep dives into the most extreme vehicles on Earth. See you in the next one.